Hello everybody, it's Bets Golden. I'm going to make a really cool steampunk type box today. It's more of a Finnabair style, I think that's how you say it. And I'm going to be using Supertite all-purpose universal glue. This is going to be great for this project because it can be used on a multitude of different surfaces. I have some of these paper clay pieces that I made out of the Prima mold, and their paper clay. You can actually find that video in my channel, on my channel, and so that's gonna be the main focal piece of this, along with this sweet little heart, which is a steampunk type heart. I also am gonna add in some puzzle pieces. I'm going to adhere these upside down. I think that the gesso will adhere nicer to the cardboard rather than the glossy side, though I think that it would also adhere just fine to the glossy, but for this purpose I'm just going to adhere them down. I love buttons on these projects, so I'm going to be adding some buttons. This is my hodgepodge of just leftovers and things I haven't used. This is a great project to use with your little embellishments and things that you just have in your craft room. I would not go out and buy things for this project specifically, otherwise you will end up spending a lot of money. How this works is it looks like a big gigantic mess on top of the box. You're gonna be thinking, what is she doing? That doesn't make any sense. That is a huge mess. And you're right, it does look like a mess, but once I gesso it and then I go over it with a I'm gonna dry brush it with this beautiful steampunk copper after it's all black. It's gonna be stunning. So the first thing I need to do is I need to place my adhesive, and I got a little bit too much on that one, got a little too excited, on my puzzle pieces. This needs to set up for about 2 minutes on here. So I'm gonna just get a couple pieces going first and let it set for 2 minutes, and then I will adhere it to the box. I like to put my flat pieces down, and I'm going to be using this adhesive on my entire project. I'm not going to be switching out adhesives. This is going to do the trick. So it needs 2 minutes to set up, and then once it sets up, it'll form a really nice bond. It takes about 4 to 6 hours to really get a permanent bond going, but you can maneuver and work with it in that time frame once the first 2 minutes are up and you've already laid the piece out. I like Supertite because it's safe. My kids can work with it, and I'm not worried about any kind of harsh chemicals. It passes the European standards, which is more rigorous than the United States standards. So I really love that about this particular line of adhesives and glues. All right, so here is this, and this is still setting up, and I'll get a couple buttons going as well. And I want to lay my flat things first, and then we'll go on to my bulkier things. And I just like to really build this up. So I'm just pulling out some buttons, looking for some smaller ones too. It's important that you have a different. So I'm just collecting some buttons. I think that's gonna do it. And I'm going to start to lay out the adhesive on this. Now, as you're working with your adhesive, a lot of people store it upside down, or, you know, they shake it vigorously trying to get it to come out. But if you just lay your adhesive on its side, it will eventually get to the exit. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're trying to get, you know, your adhesive out of a bottle, especially towards the end of the bottle, is, you know, if you're just patient and lay it off to your on its side like so, it'll get there, you know, it'll get to where it needs to go. I don't store my adhesive upside down. I store it on its side too. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and I think we're almost at 2 minutes with that. I should have been paying better attention. I'm going to go ahead and just pull out some more. I think I have a cool idea for this spool. And then like this is Brad, and all you have to do for this is just smash it out. It's no big deal. We'll get that one ready to go. What else is in here? This little one. And these are just, you know, extras of things that I have laying around. That I'll do. That. That one. And then this piece. And I don't really care if the edges are going to be showing. So let me lay out this first batch that I did, and then as the buttons are drying, I'll start to lay out. I'll get these ready and going. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to place it like so. And really what I can do with this is, since there's so much glue right there, my mistake, I can just put that on top of it. It's going to hold just fine. Something else I can do with those little pieces, that the extra glue bit, I can take some of my pebbles, my art stones, and I can just start to lay those out on top of that, because it's, you know, it will bond. It's been 2 minutes, so that's something cool to do too, just so you don't have any residue of glue showing. If you want to use tweezers for this, you can, but I tend to just use my fingers. So we can go ahead and start to adhere this. I'm going to put that one on a little last, I think. Put this one on up here. And I know that it looks like a big hot mess right now. It's supposed to look like a big hot mess right now. But I promise in the end, it will all be worth it. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Once I cover this in black, you're going to be like, she done down lost her mind. That's what you're going to be saying to yourself. I guarantee it. All right, so I got these all laid out. I'm going to pop these on, and then I'm going to go offline for, well, I'm going to turn the camera off as this sets up because it needs about 6 hours to set up. And I don't want to be adding my gesso until it is definitely dry. So I'm going to go ahead and let it set for that amount of time, and then I'll come back and we'll finish off the top. In the meantime, after I get this laid, I am going to gesso the base, which is this. You don't have to see me do that on screen, but I'll show you in the end what it looks like. And I only have a couple more of these really cute little pieces to lay out. And then we will come back and finish this project up. So cute. Well, it's going to be cute. Right now it's super ugly, but that's how it works. All right, guys, so this is my base. I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to black gesso the bottom of this, and then we'll come back and finish up the top together. See you just around the corner. So this has had some time to cure, and in the process I went ahead and gessoed with the Dina Wakley black gesso, the box, and we're going to do that to the top now. I have to tell you, I've used quite a few gessos, and this is my favorite. I didn't use it until today, and I pretty much bought it because I couldn't find the black gesso anywhere else, but it goes on real smooth. It's not real slow drying, and it just looks really nice. So I am going to be using this from here on out. So I wasn't expecting to find that to be the case, but it is. So from here, we're going to make this super duper ugly by applying the black gesso everywhere. We want to cover it all. We want to get it all in the nooks and crannies, and we don't want to see any color. So I like to just do this dabbing motion with my brush, and I might actually swap it out for another brush that is easier to do this with after I get this kind of cleaned off here. But the whole point is not to see any color, and that is why you use gesso on it and not just black paint. It also preps it for the next thing we're going to do, which is adding copper highlights to it, and that's the steampunk portion of this. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video as I do this so you can kind of watch in fast motion. Then I'm going to have to let it dry before we add that steampunk copper to the top, but I'm going to show you the technique to do that. All right, I'm going to speed it up. Okay, so I pushed this around a lot as I was painting it, and as you noticed, I went from a large bristle brush to a medium to a smaller to get into those nooks and crannies. Even if you can't see the color on the top or the white spots on the top, it's really, really important that you still try to cover the whole thing in black. And now that I'm looking, I actually can see some of that cardboard through here. So that is my cue that I need to add some more black gesso right in here and just, you know, slop it on and let it do its thing. This needs to dry before we do the next thing. And the gesso does take a little bit of time to dry. So definitely give it some time. And I like that pouncy look that this creates with the gesso, the way I'm pouncing it. I love that look. However, if you want to do more of a smoother finish, you can brush it over. But like I'm kind of smoothing that out, and no, I think I like it like pounced all in there. So I think I have a pretty good covering. So I'm going to go ahead, wash my brushes and wash up my hands, and then let this dry, and we will finish it with the dry brush technique. I'll be back in a minute. It's dry and it's ready for the magic to happen. That's what I call this phase, the magic. This is when it gets beautiful. Before I do though, just take a look at this. I am loving this corner down here. I had put some flowers and I really like how that texture and shape is. This is going to be very cool when I'm done. So my gesso is all dry, and I am very impressed with that Dina Wakley gesso. It's by far the best that I have ever used. I will be using that from here on out. It's amazing. So for this, the softer the hand, the lighter the hand, the better your results are going to be. This is where the magic can happen, or you can really screw it up. You want to take a nice soft brush, barely dip it in there on your craft mat. Wipe as much off as you can. I know that sounds crazy, but you want your brush dry, and you're going to lightly just go over your project. Now, you can always go back in and pick up some more of that paint, but you cannot remove it. So it is far better to err on the side of caution and just pick up a very, very light amount and try to really get that brush as dry as you can. And you just go over your highlighted areas very, very carefully. And I'm going to pick more up, and I'm picking it up off of my craft mat, because you're just wanting to pick up that beautiful texture and design on the top. It's just to highlight the loveliness of the raises and the drops in your project. That's all we are doing right here. And this is why it doesn't matter what you throw on this, because it's all going to look like some beautiful steampunk fun when we're done. And I just keep picking it up. And you know, if I don't have enough in a spot, then that's okay. I can go over it again. You just want to make sure you do not have too much paint on your brush. You almost want to think that you have nothing on your brush for this to work. Oop, and seeing that was that is a spot that is not dry all the way. How'd that happen? Let me take my heat gun to this. But look how pretty this is coming. Isn't this just so lovely? It's so pretty. Such a fun technique. And you give it to people and it is just, it's stunning. People are just in love with it. They cannot believe that you created this. I mean, it's awesome. All right, just gonna flip it this way. And I think I'm getting to where I'm almost done here. I do, I think I really like how it's coming along. So it had to get ugly before it could get beautiful. It's like the ugly duckling. I was going to tell you guys, if you would like to try this fantastic adhesive, all-purpose universal glue by Supertite, I do have an affiliated link. If you click on that link and if you put that coupon code in your order, every order that's $5 or more, you're going to get a percentage off. I think it's 10% off of your order. And that way you can try it out. I love this stuff. They have a whole bunch of different kinds. They have a glue stick that my kids love for school. They have a modeling paste, which is really awesome. My kids have been using it for their models. And they have a wood glue. They just really great option. Multi-purpose 360 is one of my favorites. It's a great go-to. So you load it up and take advantage of that discount. Please use my affiliated link. I do, it does nothing, it's no extra cost to you. In fact, you can use the discount code and save some money, but it does help me out. And I do get a little bit of a kickback. So that's how that works. But it's no, it doesn't affect you really one way or the other. So anyway, I highly recommend this though for this project because I do have so much laid down on it. So there we go. I think that that is it. I think that that's going to be my piece. These are hard to give away for me. Usually my craft projects and things I love to give as gifts, but these boxes, oh, I have such a hard time giving it away. Really hard time giving these away because they're so cool looking. But I made this one for my mom. I'm going to put her Mother's Day gift in it. All right, you guys, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the section below. Also, I would really appreciate it if you would share this video with anyone you think it would be relevant to. This is a fun technique and I get a lot of questions on it, and I'm sure that your friends would appreciate it. It's so easy. The hardest part, and it's not even hard, it's just, you just have to have a little bit of patience because you have to wait for your glue to set up, and then you have to wait for your gesso to set up. And then once it's all dry, there you go. You got yourself just a gorgeous box ready to give. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Make sure you find me on Instagram and Facebook under Bets Golden, as well as my Facebook page, Scrappy Cafe. Until next time, happy crafting.